Here it is, the last regular season game of the season. There's so much to talk about. There's so much to get into, but I want to start with this. The Colorado Buffaloes have had a successful football season. I thought they were going to go 7-5. At current time, they've already won 8 games, so they have exceeded my expectations. So just because I am hard on them does not mean that they have not exceeded expectations. I think some of us need to realize that I can be hard on something and I can still be proud of that thing at the same time. That's how I am. If you watch any of my videos of me talking about any of my teams, I keep the same energy throughout all the teams. This isn't fake and phony. I'm not going to be friendly because of this. I don't care. Everybody can get the same type of energy no matter what, because it's for me, this is about football. So Colorado has had a very successful season. They've doubled their wins. They've done a lot of great things. So my critiques of them is not because they are underachieving. There are some things that I still need to see some progression on, and there are some things, in my opinion, that still look the same as last year that are concerning. So whenever I say certain things, never take that to mean that I'm not proud of where they're at. They just still have a long way to go, and that is okay. That is 100% okay. So coming up next are the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And I have personal feelings about Oklahoma State just because of the Texas and Oklahoma State rivals, but I will leave those where they're at. And so honestly, I think this is an important game for Colorado. This is an early Friday morning game. Colorado just got their asses handed to them by Kansas. They literally got ran over by the running back at Kansas. And now they are on a short week. This is senior day. They have to play early. And I can promise you, Ollie Gordon isn't coming to walk when he plays this game. Ollie Gordon is going to be coming for a vengeance because Oklahoma State doesn't get another bowl game. This is going to be Ollie Gordon's last college football game. And if you think for 2 seconds Ollie Gordon is not going to come to play, I don't know what to tell you. They also have a freshman that they have started that I'm not going to say he's great. We've only seen him play 1 game, but he looks better than the guy that they used to have. So this Oklahoma State is going to come in and they're going to present different types of challenges. And I hope Colorado is ready to go on an early morning game with their bodies probably still a little bit sore based off what just happened at Kansas. So I will get to the other side of this and I'll give my thoughts about this game and I'll give the 3 things I'm going to be looking for as I watch this Oklahoma State and Colorado game. I have said this all year. I believe when a team loses, the next game you get to see what they are made of. And I am looking to see Colorado bounce back. This game for me is a culture game. This game for me is going to tell me every single thing I need to know about this Colorado culture. Are you building a culture that can fight back? Are you building a team that is going to be ready to go even after a bad loss? I want to see what Colorado team shows up. This game matters. This game matters for culture of this Colorado football team because next week is signing day and next week is when things really start going. So I need Colorado to show up and to do everything they're supposed to do. So for me, I'm calling this a culture game. I don't care if you don't like it. That's what I'm calling it because the culture is going to be on display for this Colorado team in this game because this is going to lead them to where they need to go next. The other thing I think is important to note here that Oklahoma State's offensive line is going to probably be slightly bigger than Kansas's offensive line. And I think their defensive line is probably going to be slightly bigger than Kansas's defensive line. I am not here to tell you that Oklahoma State is a good football team. I don't believe that they are a good football team, but I do believe that this Oklahoma State offense can score points. And anytime you have a team that can score offense and the defense is suspect, that's basically what Colorado is. And so with this, we might be in for a shootout. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if Oklahoma State's going to stick with the running game plan. I don't really know. All I'm saying is when you look at Oklahoma State and you look at where they're good at, they have big offensive line, big defensive line. We all know about their running back, and this new quarterback adds a different type of wrinkle because last week he had that team rolling and they looked good on offense. So I'll just leave it where it is and I will get into the 3 things I'm going to be paying attention to during this game. So the first thing I'm going to be paying attention to, I kind of alluded to it before, is this Colorado defensive line versus this Oklahoma State offensive line. I'm not going to tell you that Oklahoma State has the best offensive line in the Big 12. That's dramatic, just like I'm not going to tell you Colorado has the best defensive line in the Big 12. However, this matchup is going to be interesting because, like I said, this is a short week. So just like the defense the linebackers and stuff didn't do a good job tackling Neal last week. If you watch that Colorado and Kansas game, you will be able to see that the Kansas offensive line was blowing this Colorado defensive line off the ball. And anytime you can get an offensive line that's going to blow the defensive line off the ball, you're going to have issues on defense. So the first thing I'm going to be looking for is, what does this Oklahoma State offensive line look like against this Colorado defensive line? Colorado has to hold its own. Colorado has to be able to stop the run. That is no surprise. We just watched a team run for 300 plus yards on this defense. So it's no secret that Colorado has to stop the run, but you will be able to tell if Colorado is going to be able to stop the run based on this D-line matchup against this Oklahoma State matchup. So that's going to be the first thing I'm going to be focused on as I'm watching this game. Second thing I'm going to be focused on is turnovers. Colorado has to produce turnovers. The only way Colorado can make sure they win this game is to get at least 2 turnovers. I think they need at least 2 because I believe that Oklahoma State can run the clock out and win the time of possession game. And when you have a team that can win the time of possession game, we literally just saw that in Kansas. So I need Colorado to find a way to get at least 2 turnovers. 1 might be enough. I don't know. I need them. I would love for them to get 2. So I'm going to be looking at this turnover battle. What does it look like? Is Colorado able to get some turnovers? One thing that absolutely cannot happen is Colorado cannot turn the ball over. They have to be the team that gets the turnovers. They cannot turn the ball over. So I'm going to be looking at this turnover ratio, this turnover battle, because I think the winner of this game is probably going to be the winner who wins a turnover battle. That's not a surprising football take, but that is how important these possessions are going to be if Oklahoma State's running game gets going, because Colorado is going to need those extra possessions. The other thing I said I was going to say every week is protecting Shedeur. However, like I said last week, this offense has proved they're not going to protect Shedeur. This offensive line, I don't think, is physically capable of protecting Shedeur in the way that he needs to be protected and the time that he actually needs to stay in the pocket. And Shedeur did a lot of twisting and twirling and doing all this stuff last game. So I want to say protect Shedeur here, because when Shedeur is upright, the team seems to do better, or when Shedeur is not running for his life, the team seems to do better. But the thing about this game is Oklahoma State's defense is not very good. Oklahoma State's defense is going to be their weakness. And so I just need the offensive line to hold about a half of a second more than they were able to hold against Kansas. I'm not asking for much here. I'm not asking for this offensive line to go out there and be world beaters. All I'm asking them to do is get in the way a little bit longer. If we get in the way a little bit longer and we give Shedeur a little bit of time, I like how this looks in this game. So I'm going to be paying attention to what Shedeur looks like in that pocket. Does he have to scramble? Does he have to do all the spinning and turning and try to create plays and things like that? The good news is if he has to do spinning and turning and things like that, this Oklahoma State secondary is not as good as Kansas secondary, so maybe that's a good thing. But I'm going to be curious to see, can this Colorado offensive line protect Shedeur against Oklahoma State's defensive line? So when it comes down to it, the way I pick who I think is going to win games is based on a couple of factors. So one of the main factors that I'm going to look at is, at this time, I think Colorado as a team is better than Oklahoma State. My only concern is Oklahoma has the ability to possess the ball and not give the ball back to Colorado, and therefore it's not playing to Colorado's strengths. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on. If Oklahoma, let me just say this, because I could go either way with this. If Oklahoma State gets this running game going, and if Oklahoma State runs for over 200 yards, Oklahoma State is going to win this football game. If Oklahoma State does not run for over 200 yards, Colorado is going to win this football game. The reason why I'm saying that is because if you're getting those long drives and you're having all of those yards, it is probably because your time of possession is very high. And so if Oklahoma State has a high time of possession, the chances are they're going to win this game. So that's what I'm going to say. If Colorado is able to stop the run, if they're able to do what they're supposed to do and keep Oklahoma State from under 200 yards rushing, Colorado is going to win this game. If Oklahoma State gets more than 200 yards rushing, I think Oklahoma State is going to win this game. That's the best way I can call it, because when I go down my list of different things, it's about 50-50 on both things on who I think is going to do what. So this is going to be interesting. Colorado needs to win this game. It is on a Friday morning. For those of you that don't know, Colorado plays on Friday morning. They're going to have to show up and do their job. And if they win this game, or when they win this game, they're going to need a lot of help from their Big 12 counterparts, because because they have to have some other teams lose. At the end of the day, this is the situation that we're in. It doesn't matter what I think about this Colorado team at this point, and I say this in all of my videos about all of my teams. I don't care if Colorado wins by 1 point. I don't care if they went on a Hail Mary. I don't care what they have to do to win this game, but they have to win this game to keep their potential Big 12 playoff championship dreams alive. A loss in this game from Colorado will eliminate them out of the Big 12 championship game and will also eliminate them out of the college football playoffs. Although if I'm being honest with you, I kind of think they're already eliminated out of the college football playoffs because they will finish this season being 9-3. I don't see a world where they're going to put a 9-3 Big 12 team in over a 9-3 SEC team. I just don't see it. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong here. They could do whatever they want to do. I just can't see any team that a 9-3 Colorado can compete with in the SEC. I just don't see it. I think the SEC teams that are 9-3 would run all over this Colorado team, specifically run all over this Colorado team, and that concerns me. I also know that they will not win the battle in the trenches on either side of the ball. So it will be interesting to me if Colorado is 9-3 and the committee puts them in over an SEC team, because this is just what it is. This is football. Their job is to put in the best top 12 teams. They don't care about viewership. They don't care how you feel. They don't care who your coach is. They don't care what you're doing. They want you to be a good football team. And if you are a good football team, you get into the playoffs. If you're an average football team, you don't get into the playoffs unless you're in the SEC. That's just how this rolls. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. That's just how it goes. But I'll end this video here. Colorado needs to win this game. Colorado needs to hope that Oklahoma State does not get over 200 yards rushing because they are in trouble. And I will just leave this video here and I will see how this game goes. And who knows, maybe something crazy will happen and everything I said will just all be a lie. And it will all be for nothing and I will have royally screwed this up. Who knows? But let's see what happens.